Hi. Now today is destined to be a crazy day. It's just after lunchtime and I have just done my swim for today. But work starts at 4 and finishes at 9 and it's pretty intense. So I hope I survive the whole day. And I would usually upload a video at the end of my working day, but it'll be a bit late by then. I think I might just want to lie down and sleep. So I'm videoing this now in case I don't get a chance to sandwich it back together later. So I went for a swim this morning, just 2K, which is actually not that far for me. I usually do 2.5 to 3, but I decided to back off a little and just have like an easy day with 2K. And no, it's getting better because people are used to now seeing me. No drama is made of it. I arrived at the same time as another guy. He could see that I was disabled, and so he got in another lane to allow me to use the one that was next to the side, the ladders at the side. And the guy in the next lane to me, I was not far off his pace. Sometimes he was faster, sometimes he wasn't. And at the end, when I got out, I got out at the same time as him, and I just stood up, and I was just about to move the bag off the chair and sit down, and he came over and without saying a word, picked the crutches up off the floor and handed them to me. So I thought that was like a lovely little gesture. And so, yeah, it was a reasonably uneventful trip to the pool. But whilst I was there, I got a really exciting email and I'm now hatching a plan. Now, I have just finished reading Mark Inglis's first book, No Mean Feat. And he's a New Zealand climber who went up onto Mount Cook, got stuck up there in a terrible storm, couldn't get rescued and ended up losing both his legs below the knees due to frostbite. And anyway, I'm on his second book now, where he climbs Everest. And he's also been in the Paralympics as a cyclist, and he did some skiing for a while. So yeah, he's quite an inspirational guy and he's quite well known here. But yeah, I was reading his book and he mentions all the organisations that he was in contact with, and one of them was Parafed New Zealand. Now, I'd never heard of this, so I looked it up. Parafed is like the regional organisations for disabled sport, and there's meant to be one in every province, which is like, provinces are like counties in England. In New Zealand, provinces are counties, and they're all governed by a county council sort of thing, city councils, and that is all overseen by the government. In Australia, it's slightly different, as in each area is governed a bit like America, and they've got their own governing bodies and things like that, and so it makes consistency across the country a little bit more challenging, a bit like the USA, when each state in the USA has its own sort of governance. Anyway, in New Zealand, it's not like that. New Zealand's structure is a bit more like England. And I'm in Southland, and the next state up, province, is Otago. And that's where Dunedin is, and it's where I go for my limb centre appointments. Southland is down at the bottom tip of New Zealand, and it's pretty rural. It's well known for being farmland, lots of farmland, farming country. It's one of the largest provinces with one of the smallest populations. Because of its location and because of the nature of it and whatever. You don't really pop through Southland on the way to anywhere. We're at the end. So, and the Invercargill is the state capital, sort of thing. And it is deemed as a city, but it's only got 52,000 population, which is like a small town in England. So that makes everything down here a little bit challenging when it comes to accessing stuff because of the size of the population down here. That's why I have to often travel a long way for different types of services, because Dunedin's a much bigger metropolitan centre. Anyway, I was looking up Parafed to see what that was. And in New Zealand, there is Sport Southland, Sport Otago, Sport Canterbury, blah, 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 blah. And that's the sporting organisation that's meant to organise community sport in the area, which is sport for all sort of thing. But there's meant to be Parafed in each of those provinces as well. So I found Parafed Otago, Parafed Canterbury, Parafed Auckland. I did not find Parafed Southland. So I contacted Parafed Otago to see what was happening. Now, just typical for me. Parafed Southland doesn't really exist. It sort of collapsed a while back. It used to be a really big thing, and now it's not, and it's really not a thing at all. And they're trying to build it back up again. And when I looked for its page on Facebook, it's only got 40 likes. So great. But what could I access through Parafed? Now, if I was living in Otago, I asked the Otago people what sort of things they offer, because I'm looking at what I'm thinking of, you see, is accessing sport from an able-bodied point of view and putting myself alongside able-bodied athletes, like in triathlon and aquathlon and things like that. And I would also be interested in accessing sport just from a disability point of view, putting myself on an equal par with other people with similar disability. Because I can dance in both ballparks, and it'd be quite interesting to see how that went. Now, the Parafed organisations arrange the sports and arrange all of the equipment so that you can access it. Parafed Otago suggested wheelchair basketball. Now, I don't know if you've seen those wheelchairs. They're a bit mean. You get strapped in and they're like armour plated, and the wheels are on much more of a slant. And I have never liked basketball much, to be fair, or netball either. However, strapped into one of those chairs and in an equal par with a lot of other people, do you know what? I'd actually quite fancy having a go at that, just from a grrr point of view. But, of course, there's nothing going on in Southland. So I'm on a little mission. Now, I've contacted back to Otago to see whether any of the times I'm in Dunedin I can have a go at that whilst I'm up there. And I've contacted Parafed Southland, who are trying to build themselves back up into an organisation, national organisation again, and asked if I can help them get something going. I'm waiting to hear back from them. So, wouldn't it be really cool if I manage to make this happen, I become the local personal trainer that is known for disability. I specialise in amputees and spinal cord injuries, which I've talked about before, which was mentioned by the nurses. There's just nothing down here that accessible for that sort of thing. And I was able to help them get something going from a Parafed point of view, which means that the people that can't afford to pay for personal training could still access sport through Parafed Southland. Now, that really has got my brain buzzing. I really can't wait to speak to some people about this. I have an exciting update. So I've just had a call from a woman who is trying to get Parafed Southland back up and running. It has kind of fallen by the wayside. It's still got its structures in place, but nobody has done anything with it, and it's kind of dormant. And so, yeah, nothing is happening. So she started a new Facebook page, and she's on a little mission to get a better, more suitable board set up, and treasurers and presidents and things like that, and is going to meet with me in a week or two. So I think I might have just found myself my next project. So work this afternoon, I've got a new personal training client coming in. That's really cool. And I have got 2 massages. I hope they're going to be all right, because I've had to squash them together so that I can fit time to go to Dunedin for the Limb Centre appointment on Wednesday and Thursday this week, which means I've got 2 one-hour massages in the evening with a half an hour in between, and I usually put bigger spaces between those, so hope that'll be okay. And that's, yeah, oh, and then a consultation before that. So that is 5 hours, almost back-to-back 5 hours. The consultation, the personal training, and the first massage are all back-to-back. Oh, I'm actually feeling quite nervous because it's been such a long time since I've done a proper workload, and I actually find massage really, really challenging physically at the moment. It's a shame because I like doing it, but I find it so much harder than it was prior to my surgery. Prior to surgery, massage was my preferred, and PT if it fitted around it. But now it's really flipped because physically it's really hard to do massage. That's when you've got 2 feet, never mind 1. And we just can't meet the demand at the moment because we've got a vacancy that we can't fill. So I am hoping that I get through to the end of the evening all in one piece, and I will maybe see you later, or maybe I'll see you on the other side instead.